at the traditional Rambling House, which will be back soon. So I'm just asking you to unmute there now. You should see a little sign up. There you are, Jan. No. There you are. We're getting Jan, aren't we getting very good at the buttons? Aren't we? We're getting amazing.
Slowly but surely, Marie. Slowly but surely.
What do you think of tonight, Jan?
Very, very good.
Would you let those people into your Rambling House, do you think?
Oh, we'd only be delighted to have them. We'd only be delighted. It's lovely to see the different faces and the different stories.
And to hear the different accents, you know.
And I love the one about the time with Francis there. It was fantastic.
Oh, wasn't it?
Very good.
I have a pain in my face from smiling. It was just so good, you know. So
and we mentions it so many times during the day time, don't we?
That's it. Time and tide. Wait for no man.
No, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
So, Jan, you're coming along to our lovely festival.
Yeah, yes. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Brilliant. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you, because no more than Maria Watton, I've never met you face to face.
Likewise.
Yeah. So.
And you'll be down in Listowel again shortly, sure, I believe.
Oh, I'm telling you, you can't get rid of me now that my car knows its way to Listowel, you know. They're saying, oh no, here she comes again. So, John, I'm going to leave you off. And is Donal with you, John?
Yeah, I've actually got Donal. He's here beside me.
I might as well let the two of you go together. So will you go first and then introduce Donal? Would you mind that?
No, that's no problem. Actually, I'm going to take a break from it tonight. I have no tune or anything. I'm a kind of an out throaty. But anyways, I'm going to hand you over to Donal.
Fab.
So and he has a lovely story or two for you. So Donal O'Connor all the way from Tarbert.
Oh, Donal, I'm looking forward to meeting you down there in Listowel as well.
So I'll hand you over to Donal now.
Lovely, thank you.
Hello, Marie.
Hello, Donal.
I was just thinking there that what do we say? I grew up in Bay Longford, on days like this long ago when we were children, we'd make it down to Carrigafoyle Castle, which was about 2 miles below the village. And when we'd be after exploring the castle, we'd go on a bit further to the boathouse. We could go swimming there because there was a nice beach there. So I was just thinking when John was asking me about doing something for this program, it just stuck into my head that maybe I could tie up Carrigafoyle Castle with a very prominent Bay Longford man who lost his life in the 1916 rising, the O'Rahilly, Michael O'Rahilly. And he, as most of the leaders in the 1916 rising, appeared to have been interested in poetry, and Michael O'Rahilly was no exception. So he wrote this verse, possibly in the early 1900s, and it is based on an old legend, so he called it The Legend of Carrigafoyle. And it goes like this. On the banks of the Shannon from Cavan to Clare, there are ruins and relics and nothing to spare. There are castles and abbeys and anchorite cells, with convents and forts and miraculous wells. And each has its story of fame and of glory that clings like the moss to those monuments hoary. There are songs that are merry and songs that are sad. There are memories of good men and stories of bad. But the drollest I've heard in a very long while is the tale of O'Connor of Carrigafoyle. Now the castle of Carrigafoyle, by the way, is in Kerry, opposite Sherry Bay, where dwelt long ago with much glory and honour O'Connor the king of the O'Connor. And there wasn't a merrier mansion in Kerry from Knocknor Hill to the Port McGee ferry, with plenty of liquor and money to keep at the bottom if you wanted to make it go quicker. For whisky was cheaper than Paris and Isle in the days of O'Connor of Carrigafoyle. Now one time when this king was in Paris, he saw a German shop without blemish or flaw. Its colour was green and its cut it was clean. It was one of the finest that he'd ever seen. So he bought it and paid, but in truth, I'm afraid, he did not pay then, but a bargain he made that he'd pay in a year, and he swore in his honour if he didn't, he'd forfeit the O'Connor. So he came back to Kerry, and just as he thought, his friends were amazed at the fine jewel he'd bought. And McCall saw Days and the Hickeys of Clare were jealous, and so was O'Sullivan Bear. The Fitzgeralds of Glyn and the Stacks of Kilflin all had nothing to do but to bear it in green. So he flashed it this way for a year and a day, till it ran through his mind he'd forgotten to pay. Then he gave up his lands as a gentleman author, but his castle he kept, what was built on the water. And there he was sitting at Turvet alone, bemoaning his folly and cursing the stone. He was crying there in rage one day when a page approached and said, "Why, sire, tears at your age?" And he answered, "My lad, there's no wonder I'm sad, for if you did as I did, you'd feel just as bad. But this pitiful pebble you see in my ear, I have that to the realm, don't you think it was dear? And the cash into Clare did my forefathers share, but my property now is just 50 feet square." But why do I croak? And with his sword as he spoke, he severed the lobe from his ear with one stroke, then leapt from his seat, cut the gem and the meat, and huddled them both to the sands at his feet. A tiny spot showed where they rested a while, as they sank in the quicksands of Carrigafoyle. By God, sire, said the lad, I know no way to get back to your estates if you'll do as I say. I suck the new will, said the king, if I can. It is easy, the lad said, and this is the plan. So there on the spot they hatched out the plot, and the king said he'd see could he work it or not. So he started at once, and he set out for France, where he called him the jeweller as if to by chance. And he wore his long hair hanging down, which I'm told was the usual custom in Ireland of old. But he must have decided before leaving home to do as the Romans do when they're in Rome. So it had passed as a Frenchman while he was in Gaul. He said that night he was going to a ball, and he wanted a fine chain of gold for his hair, like the nobles of France at that time used to wear. When the French cavaliers of the day, it appears, tied their hair with a chain from the lobes of their ears. The jeweller told him that he needn't worry, he'd have one especially made in a hurry. But the king said he'd like to have some guarantee to be ready for fear he'd be late, you see. To be sure, said the jeweller, don't say one word more, and we make the same bargain as we made before. So he wrote out an agreement agreeing to bring that evening the chain the right size for the king, and if it wasn't ready that evening for 10, O'Connor could have his estates back again. At last 10 o'clock came, and to shorten my song, he bought him a chain about 10 inches long. I'm afraid 'tis a little too short, said the Don. Nonsense, said the Frenchman. Let me try it on. So he felt the king's hair, and he searched everywhere, and at last he exclaimed, but one ear is not there. Then not, said the king, for I left it below in the quicksands of Carrick a fortnight ago, and I'll trouble you now to go quickly and bring a chain that will fit not like this little thing, but one that will reach every inch of the way from Carrigafoyle to the road de la Paix. Now to finish my story, the jeweller he swore, such a swindler he'd never encountered before. He cursed and he fumed, he moaned and he whined, when the monarch produced the agreement he'd signed to deliver a chain to O'Connor that night that would hang from his left ear and reach to his right. But since one ear was gone and he had only one, it was damn hard to see how this thing could be done. So they settled the case, as the legend relates, by the king getting back all his Irish estates, and he ruled ever after as Lord of the Soil of Iarachdy Conor and Carrigafoyle. God rest you, Michael O'Reilly.
Oh, Michael O'Reilly. I wish I'd met him now. What a master of the word. We had a word for it long ago when we'd be going to the session, the wordsmith. And it was a wordsmith that put that together. And you know, yeah, loved it, Johnny. And I absolutely loved the rhythm of it. Sometimes, you know, the rhythm of a story can tell you almost as much as the story itself. Did you enjoy yourself tonight, Donald?
Did you enjoy yourself? Did you enjoy yourself? I did tonight. Yeah.
I did very much, and I was always I didn't realize it till I was pushing on in life that there were other people like me around us. We always listened to stories and listened to music, and that Irish music. It was only when the Whammy House started up that I realized there were others like myself around.
That's
And
it.
every parish, every town has them.
Absolutely.
One of the
No.
things I miss about COVID now and during COVID is the little gatherings that we used to have in the various villages. But please God,
Absolutely.
we'll get back to normal again.
Looking forward to that, and looking forward to meeting you properly, Donal. Mwah. Thank you so much.
It's all
You
in
know,
turn up.
thank you. So Johnny, are you bringing Donal with you to the festival? You are, of course.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Apologies for Helen Murphy tonight. She wasn't able to make it from Killarney, so.
Well, she was a massive hit last month.
Yeah.
Everybody just loved her and her shiny hat, you know, and it was just brilliant, you know. So I'm looking forward to seeing her in Listowel when we get there. And right now we're reassessing everything because the online Rambling House ran much longer than we first anticipated. But we got loads of beautiful letters from people saying what a connection it was during these times, you know. So we're looking now at maybe winding it up so that the Rambling House can take off again. But, you know, we have beautiful playlists. And if anybody wants to listen to those playlists, they're available on the Kerry Writers Museum's YouTube channel. And I'm delighted that we have Donal. And I'm delighted that we have Helen, and I'm delighted that we have Johnny McElligott, the real article in our playlist. So thank you so much. Mwah.
You're welcome, Marie. Thanks.
Not at all. And we'll see you again very shortly down in Listowel.
Thanks, Marie.
Thank you.